you're not really bounded by your present or your past. Instead, you actually choose to be. A lot of times, what happens is that if we have a certain negative perception of ourselves for a very long time, especially, or we think that others have a negative perception of us, maybe you were brought up like bullied, you were bullied for like almost your entire childhood, or maybe you were seen as a loner, or you were just perceived as someone with not good speaking skills, or not good public speaking skills, or just not good confidence. So you start slowly identifying yourself with it, and what happens here is that you become very into the eyes of others. You start looking at yourself from the eyes of others. Now, what I mean by this is also selective eyes. You start looking at yourself from the eyes of the people who have a negative perception of you that aligns with your identification of yourself. There's something you identify yourself with, it's a negative perception. Whoever you think perceives you like that, you constantly look at yourself from those sort of eyes, a distorted perception. So even when you want to change, you feel this internal inertia, like a resistance, whether it is unconscious or conscious, because you have such a strong identification with it that it's really hard for you to even imagine yourself the other way. Like if you've brought up bullied, you can never imagine yourself as someone who's extremely confident, actually feel like embody it. You feel like, oh wait, I can't do that. Why? Because you're constantly thinking, wait, I'm the person that gets bullied. I'm the person that is always small. So how am I supposed to shine bright? What you're doing here is you're looking at yourself from the perception of others that you have made your own. But the thing is, it's your present that is slowly determining your past. Now, your past is already determined. Okay, it's already done. It's done, basically. Your future is something you have in your hands, and we don't realize that part. We keep on repeating the same patterns, being the same person, because we think we're identifying ourselves with it. So it's really hard for us to change because we unconsciously feel like we can never be that ideal version. We can never be that person. But what you're supposed to do here is first detach yourself from the perception of others. How you do that is with self awareness. Like, okay, wait, you know what? It is possible for me to be the person even if I've never even been 1% of that version yet. Like, you see, when you're having those sort of thoughts, what thoughts are you having? That I can never be that. That isn't me. What are people gonna think? Like, people are never gonna see me that ways. First of all, the people in your life keep changing. You go from school, you go from school to college, you go from college to job, you go from job to another job. You have your job, you have your home place, you have your people around you that are close to your family. You know, there are a lot of places, and no one really knows about your past. Each time you have an opportunity to come to make a completely new reality for yourself, to become a completely new version of yourself. You are not chained to your old version, mind you. You can, you're free to fully change and become a new version of yourself. Do you think people that have lost a lot of weight, right? Do they keep saying that, oh, I'm a fat person, I can't be thin? Even though they've identified themselves for so many years as being obese or being fat, they still lose that weight. And to be that person, you need to first have the vision. But the problem with you right now is you don't even have the vision. You feel incapable of even having that vision you because you feel like, oh, that's not me. Because your identification to this is so strong. What you need to change is you need to start absorbing into your own life thinking rather than your perception of what people think of you. Stop thinking what people are thinking, like as in, oh, like people will never see me that ways, because every single time you feel like you have an inertia, internal inertia, that is coming because of something external as well, because you feel like, oh no, I can't be that person. Like, you feel like, okay, if I am being if I'm like, if I'm being like, if I have been bullied in the past and now I want to be a confident version who never gets bullied, always stands up for myself, you're gonna think of the bully that used to bully you in the past, and then you're gonna be like, oh, no, wait, I'm not that person. Who's stopping you? You're stopping you. Literally, only you're stopping you. And you can literally change just your perception in under 1 second. The mental work can be done like this, like this. But you choose how long it takes. You choose how long it takes. So what you need to do is change the fact that you keep seeing yourself from other people's eyes. Stop seeing yourself from other people's eyes because you'll never be happy. If you keep looking at your life from how others perceive it, you're never going to be happy because there's always going to be some flaw you're going to find in it. You have to start seeing your life from your eyes. Your eyes. And your eyes should see your goal and the way to it. Not how other people are seeing your life. Because if you constantly keep thinking how other people are gonna see your life, you're not going to be able to change that much. Even if you are, that is. But slowly, when you start looking at yourself from your eyes, your life from your eyes, not other people's eyes, what other people will be thinking of your life, but what you think of your life, and you just think, you know what, let them think whatever they want, but it's my life. When you gain that power back, that is when the momentum starts, that is when the change starts happening. When you stop thinking, you know what, the bully can think that I'm like a bully, that I'm still that small person. He's probably always gonna think that, but it doesn't matter because I see that confident, ideal version that always stands up. And right now, if I don't make the change right now, then my future version will not be that person. I need my future version to be that ideal person. For that, you need to start making the internal change right now. You cannot wait. You cannot wait if you want it as soon as possible. You have to start the momentum right now. What you need to do basically is to first stop looking at yourself from other people's eyes. Start looking at yourself from your life from your eyes. Stop identifying yourself with something because when you were born without all of these things. So they don't belong to you. You can always exchange it with something else. So it's just in your mind, you can exchange that reputation with another reputation. You build that first reputation, you can break it and build another. You build the first one, you can build the second one. It's not that deep. And you keep making it very deep. Do that, and that's how you're gonna find the momentum. And as you find the momentum, you're gonna notice how simple it was and how such a small deal it was, and you kept making it such a big deal. And that it is actually possible to break free from the chains never existed. You're creating those chains. It's like it's like this is here, and I'm just like, wait, it's like this. These are my chains. Oh no, I'm chained. This is literally how you look like. There are no chains. You can break free anytime. And you really need to understand that because you are free, you just choose not to be. Thank you.